1. Start with gratitude. It's the key to everything. Let's kick things off with something my 90-year-old friend swears by: gratitude. Now, I know you've probably heard this before, but hear me out. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you for the big stuff, like a nice house or a loving family. It's about finding the tiny moments that light up your day. She told me, every morning I wake up and think of 3 things I'm thankful for. It could be the sunrise, the smell of my coffee, or even the fact that I can still wiggle my toes. Isn't that beautiful? At 90, she's not focusing on what's gone wrong in her life, and trust me, she's had her share of hardships. Instead, she's choosing to notice the little gifts each day brings. So, how can you do this? It's simple. Grab a journal or even a scrap of paper. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be profound. Maybe it's the way your dog curls up next to you, the sound of birds outside, or a kind word from a neighbor. If writing isn't your thing, just say them out loud. The point is to start your day with a mindset that says, there's still beauty in my world. Why does this work? Well, science backs it up. Studies show that practicing gratitude rewires your brain to focus on the positive, which can lower stress and boost your mood. But more than that, it's like putting on a pair of glasses that help you see joy where you might have missed it before. After 70, when life can sometimes feel like it's slowing down, this habit keeps your heart open to new possibilities. Let me share a story. My friend once told me about a tough year when she lost her husband. She felt like the world had gone gray. But one day she noticed a single daisy growing in a crack in her driveway. That tiny flower became her reason to smile that day. From then on, she made it a point to look for her daisy every day, something small that reminded her life was still worth celebrating. So, my challenge to you is this: tomorrow morning, find your 3 things. And if you're feeling stuck, look for your own daisy. It's there, I promise. 2. Stay connected. Your people are your joy. The second lesson is all about connection. My friend says, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're alone, it's hard to feel joy. And she's right. As we get older, it's easy to drift apart from friends or family. Maybe you've moved or your social circle has gotten smaller. But here's the truth. You don't need a huge group of people to feel connected. Even 1 or 2 meaningful relationships can make all the difference. She's got this ritual where she calls one person every week, just to chat. It could be her daughter, an old neighbor, or even the young cashier at the grocery store who's become a friend. These conversations aren't about solving the world's problems. They're about sharing a laugh, a memory, or just listening to someone else's day. Now, I get it. Reaching out can feel hard, especially if you're shy or you've been out of touch for a while. But you don't have to make it complicated. Send a text, write a quick note, or invite someone for a coffee. If mobility is an issue, use video calls. My friend swears by Zoom to catch up with her grandkids across the country. She says seeing their faces lights up her whole week. Here's a practical tip. Make a list of 5 people you'd love to reconnect with. They could be old friends, family members, or even someone you've just met. Then reach out to one of them this week. Start small, just say, I was thinking of you and wanted to say hi. You'd be amazed how a simple message can spark a conversation that leaves you both smiling. And don't forget about community. My friend volunteers at her local library reading stories to kids. She says it's not just about giving back, it's about feeling like she's part of something bigger. If volunteering isn't your thing, consider joining a book club, a gardening group, or even a church group. The key is to find spaces where you can share moments with others. One of my favorite stories from her is about a knitting club she joined at 80. She wasn't great at knitting, but the laughter and stories she shared with those women became some of her happiest memories. She still wears a lopsided scarf one of them made her, and it's like a hug every time she puts it on. So, think about it. Who's one person you could reach out to today? And what's one small way you could connect with your community? These connections are like little sparks of joy that keep your heart warm. 3. Keep moving, even a little bit. Now let's talk about movement. I know, after 70 the idea of exercise might make you groan. But my friend's take on this is so refreshing. She says, you don't have to run a marathon to feel alive. Just move your body in a way that feels good. For her, it's a 10-minute walk around her garden every morning. She shuffles along, smells the roses, and waves at her neighbors. On days when her arthritis acts up, she does gentle stretches in her chair while listening to Frank Sinatra. The point isn't to break a sweat, it's to remind herself that her body is still capable of bringing her joy. Movement does wonders for your mood. It releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that give you a natural high. Plus, it helps with stiffness, boosts energy, and can even improve sleep. But more than that, it's a way to celebrate what your body can still do instead of focusing on what it can't. So, How can you make this part of your life? Start small. If you like nature, try a short walk in a park or even around your backyard. If you enjoy music, put on your favorite songs and sway a little. If you're social, maybe try a low-impact class like chair yoga or water aerobics at your local community center. My friend swears by her dance parties in her living room. She just puts on some old Motown records and moves however she feels like. Here's a funny story. One day I caught her dancing with her walker, twirling it like a partner. She laughed and said, "If I can't dance with a handsome man anymore, I'll dance with this old thing." That's the spirit, finding joy in the moment no matter what. If you're not sure where to start, talk to your doctor about what's safe for you. Then pick one small way to move each day. Maybe it's stretching for 5 minutes or gardening for 10. The goal is to make it fun, not a chore. And trust me, your body and your mood will thank you. For rediscover your passions, it's never too late. This next lesson is one of my favorites. Never stop exploring what lights you up. My friend says, age is just a number. It doesn't mean you stop being curious. At 90, she's still trying new things. A few years ago, she took up painting, not because she's an artist, but because she wanted to play with colors. Her paintings are, let's just say, very colorful. But she loves them, and that's what matters. Think back to what used to make you happy. Maybe it was cooking, writing, gardening, or even singing in the shower. Or maybe there's something you've always wanted to try but life got in the way. After 70, you've got the time and the wisdom to dive back in, or start fresh. Here's how to do it. Make a list of 3 things you've always loved or wanted to explore. It could be as simple as baking bread, learning a few chords on a guitar, or reading poetry. Then pick one and take a tiny step toward it. Maybe watch a YouTube tutorial, sign up for a local class, or just spend 15 minutes doodling. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to have fun. My friend told me about a man in her senior center who started learning Italian at 85 because he wanted to read Dante's poetry in its original language. He's not fluent, but he lights up every time he says a new phrase. That's what passion does. It gives you a reason to get out of bed. If you're feeling stuck, try something creative. Paint, knit, write a letter, or even rearrange your furniture. Creativity keeps your brain sharp and your heart happy. And don't worry about being good at it. As my friend says, if it makes you smile, it's good enough. So, what's one thing you'd love to try or revisit? Let's make a pact. This week, take one small step toward it. You deserve to feel that spark again. 5. Embrace the present. Let go of regrets. The final lesson is about living in the now. My friend says, I can't change the past and I don't know how much future I have. But I've got today and I'm going to make it count. That's such a powerful mindset, especially after 70, when it's easy to dwell on what could have been or worry about what's next. She's had her share of regrets, missed opportunities, words left unsaid. But she's learned to let them go. Instead of ruminating, she focuses on what she can do today to feel alive. Maybe it's calling her grandson, baking cookies for a neighbor, or just sitting in the sun with a good book. How can you embrace the present? Start by noticing your surroundings. Right now, take a deep breath and look around. What do you see, hear, or feel? Maybe it's the warmth of your coffee mug or the sound of rain outside. These moments are gifts and they're happening all the time. Another way is to practice mindfulness. You don't need to meditate for hours. Just take a few minutes to focus on your breath or savor a meal slowly. My friend loves her tea ritual, where she sits quietly, sips her tea, and lets her thoughts settle. It's her way of grounding herself in the moment. And when regrets or worries creep in, acknowledge them but don't let them take over. My friend has a saying, I give my worries a chair, but I don't let them sit at the table. In other words, she sees them but she doesn't let them ruin her day. Here's a story that stuck with me. A few years ago, she decided to write letters to her kids, telling them all the things she wished she'd said sooner, how proud she was, how much she loved them. She didn't wait for the perfect moment. She did it then and there, and it brought her so much peace. That's living in the present, taking action on what matters to you today. So try this. Today, do one thing that makes you feel fully alive. Maybe it's calling someone you love, enjoying a favorite song, or just sitting quietly and noticing the world around you. The present is where joy lives. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss the next one. Stay well, stay inspired, and see you next time.